Hello, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. My name is Mark, and welcome back to another episode of Finding the Next Big Roguelike, the series where I play roguelike games and demos that have been sent to the channel and give my first impressions. Today, we're taking a look at a game called Dungeonfell. This seems to be a turn-based, tactical, single-player roguelike. And I don't know much about this game. I don't have much background other than it's released today, as of doing the stream. And the one thing that I've noticed that is pretty interesting, you don't really get to see very often in roguelikes, is this is a turn-based roguelike, but in a 3D environment, where you're seemingly taking control of multiple characters, multiple heroes, and trying to delve into some dungeons, I would imagine, and upgrading your heroes along the way. When I just, turned on this game, there was a screen with not much, just saying, press any button, and this was the next screen. So I figured, let's just experience whatever is next. Sometimes I try to go straight to the hub, the menu to start off, but in these situations where there wasn't a menu prior to apparently some lore, I figured let's just get some lore together before we jump into whatever is next. So Dungeonfell was always a land of monsters and dungeons, but it was over a century ago that it started to change. Cool. An evil curse has spread across the realm, causing lands to fall into a void and merge into a single twisted dungeon. So be it. Horrific monsters started to appear, and the lands fell to chaos. The ancient sages foretold of this disaster and prophesied that 3 keystones— oh my gosh, this is like Final Fantasy, right? The old style Final Fantasy. Gathered across the lands will hold the answers. Champions from across the land heed the call of the great wizard Balthazar. Me! And flock to stop the spreading corruption. He's totally the final boss. Maybe. Your adventure starts now. Ooh, we are just put straight into the tutorial. Good to know. If you're working on your own roguelike, feel free to submit it using the form in the description for a chance to be featured. We get sent so many amazing games, much more that we can currently showcase. So if you have a release or key date, we also offer developers the option to get ahead of the line for a guaranteed feature. So big thanks for sending us Dungeonfell and using that option. Alright, let's take a look at this tutorial. So let me reintroduce myself. Hello, great wizard Balthazar, creator of this tower, and this is my training room. You got it. Here's where I usually train delvers, preparing them for the dangers of the dungeon, so they may retrieve the lost keystones of legend. You got it. Today, however, I shall be training you. Cool, tutorial, nice. Okay, let's see. Okay, oh, cool. So this is going to be the order of attacks, I would imagine. The queue, yep, nice, nice, nice. Fights are turn-based, so learning to use your delvers as a team is key to defeating the dungeon. Cajun is your first delver in the queue. Let's see what she can do. It's funny to be thrown into a tutorial without really much more context, because I still don't really know if this is a roguelite. I have no concept of how the roguelike elements are right now at all. And we're obviously going to get more information fairly soon, but currently I still have no idea what to expect from this game. So I'm pretty excited. Alright, so let's see what can she do. I've brought Kaijin's actions onto the right of the screen as a damage class. She has the sword, basic attack, and cleave action. One is 3, one is 1. Imagine these are your energy cost actions. Delvers cost action points. A delver will gain half their maximum AP at the start of their turn. Half of their maximum. Now, is it rounded up or down? Because they all have 5, so hopefully it's rounded up. Let's get Cajun to use her cleave to attack all monsters. Click cleave and then click any monster. You should wipe them out. Can we get information about what cleave is? No, not yet. 10 damage to everything. Great. Action cost has increased. Using any Delver's action increases its AP cost by 1 for their current turn. So that means that we could theoretically use an action multiple times. Does that mean that we could use basic attack 3 times then? Because 1, 2, and 3? Oh, no. That would be 2 times. Got it. Interesting. Kaijin has 1 AP left, so you just lose the basic attack. Got it. And deal some damage to the Scalabro. Now she's out of AP, so we can go to the next, which is... oh. These arrows show a monster's target. A larger arrow pointing towards the delve means they are going to be attacked. Yes, sure. Got it. The flashing number here shows the amount of damage the monster will deal. This is a gigantic attack. 20 damage! No! Finally, the flashing crosshair here shows a monster's chance to hit. Got it, because there are a lot of stats that we still have not seen. I'm surprised they I don't get to see any numbers yet, during the tutorial. Which I guess makes sense, you know, try to keep it minimalistic, just understanding the basics. Sorry about that, I seem to have interrupted the Blaze's turn. Yeah, that was kind of, you know, not cool. I've brought his Delver's action onto the screen. I hope that we don't continue with this team post-tutorial, that we can actually build stuff instead of just being given all these attacks that we have to just learn. I wonder how a beginning of a game is going to be, you know. Blaze is a tank with the guard ability. Click and hold to see what it does. Oh, that's how we can figure it out. This definitely feels like also potentially an app game. Like for phone with the way that everything is structured. Also, why am I defending? This is a terrible play. Guy's almost dead. Nice, you saved Percival. Why? I was just fine. You have some AP left, but let's end your turn and save that for next turn. Ah, you can conserve AP between turns. That's similar to Across the Obelisk, I think. You got Blaze to block most of the damage, but he's not on fire. Yep. Just like with actions, you can inspect any Delvers by clicking and holding. I'm not sure how I feel about clicking and holding. It's a bit of a waste of time, but it makes sense if it is supposed to be for also phone games, because that is an easy way of doing it, right? When you select a character, I'll give you information on who they are, what blessings or curses they are active, all that good stuff. Okay. If you look above Blaze's head, you can see his health bar. The number on the burn shows how many turns it will last. Got it. Right, now that we've sped up, introduce you to Percival, your main source of healing. Got it. Terrible plays, as you could just kill him off right now, you know, but sure, we'll heal and, you know, prolong the game. Percival has more than enough AP to heal. Percival heals 1 Delver for 10. Healing causes the target to regain health. Yeah, okay, sure. Let's use it to heal, himself and... I see. Sure, I guess I could do this, and I could do this. Sure. Okay. That's better, but remember, Delver action increase in cost? Yeah. Percival, I heal now cost 4. Yeah, that makes sense, Anyway, enough of me talking. Percival has 1 AP left. Let's use him to attack and finish off the stupid... Thank you. I'll play better than whatever I'm forced to do right now, I promise. Nicely done. I set up another group of monsters we deal with while we go over some more advanced stuff. Got it. Let's see. I've added some information to the queue at the top of the screen. You can now see the monster's current action. Cool. Oh, okay, so you get to see ahead of time. Click and hold to inspect the Scorch Bruiser's action and find out what he's doing. Okay. Scorch Bruiser attacks on Delver twice. Now, how do I know that? Is there an icon that shows twice? Is it this? Each hit deal 8 and apply weak. No, that is definitely the weak. How is there a way of knowing visually that he was going to attack twice, or is it because it's the Scorch Bruiser does that as a passive thing? That's probably what it is. Delver, this screen shows you details of a monster and their current action. Got it. The Scorch attacking Cajun, you'll have to deal with it before it gets its turn. Now, one thing I'm kind of curious is, I get to see that this monster is attacking her, but can I get to see... Why can't I just see all of them where they're gonna attack? I don't know why. In addition to your Delver's attack, you can also use Delver abilities. These cost AP and got on cooldown. Got it, sure. And there's a little bar to indicate that. Abilities have a 100% chance to hit. Always? That's just a default thing in this game? Interesting. Use Cajun to lay IS slash on the Scourgebringer. So what does this do? Hits monsters dealing 21 damage and removing 2 break points. Ah, okay, so we can stun enemies. That's gonna be the next thing. Huzzah. Cool. Nicely done. You just dealt breakpoints. Yep, these are purple pips below a monster's health. But dealing any damage to a monster's health removes at least one of these pips. Some abilities remove more, like this thing. Using Cajun to remove the last breakpoint. Okay. So what is this ability? It hits 1 monster, dealing 10 damage and applying weak. Okay. I don't need to do that. I'm going to break point. Cool, now it's done, right? Skips their turn. Cool. Using the Delver to break monsters is one of the most important powerful tools. Blah, blah, makes sense. Let's end your turn. Move to our tank. Let's use Blaze to deal with that bat. Okay. What do you have here? Blaze gains Focused and Flaming Strike for 1 turn and hits 1 monster, dealing 12 damage. Base attack costs 1 + 1 AP. Okay. Focused, chance to hit. More chance to hit. Apply burn when dealing non-blockable damage. Okay, so I guess we'll do this? Right, I didn't give you enough AP to deal with that bat. Yeah, I was kind of confused when you said I had to take care of that, but... So what now? Luckily, I've saved up some Team AP. You can see the meter in the bottom right. Team AP. So I'm assuming these are like, in case of emergency, extra AP that regenerate over time or something. So how does Team AP work? I don't know. That's not gonna kill it, is it? Oh. Well, it's not. While the devil will regain their AP naturally, you gain Team AP in a couple ways. Yeah, you earn Team AP from breaking monsters. Oh, and winning fights. Okay, yeah, so it is a continuous. It's kind of like a currency that you keep for battles. That's cool. It persists between fights. You can be used during any Delver's turn. Okay, yeah, so that's a cool mechanic. I like that. Anyway, let's see what happens to that. Let's see what's happening to that Scorched Bruiser. Let me see again this. The Fire Bat attacks. Oh wait. I want to see the fire. It's not. Oh, burns down there. Got it. Deal 5 damage and 1 BP damage at the beginning of the turn. How much health does it have? 11 health, right? Yeah, that's the health. Cool. All right. When a monster starts their turn broken, they recover, become fortified. Fortified means have protected breakpoints, meaning they take no breakpoints damage for 1 turn, I would imagine. While they still take health damage and can be killed, this means they have a guaranteed move next turn. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Cool. That makes sense. Okay, so this bat is dead. I don't know if the fire triggers before or after a turn. Like, will this bat die before doing an attack? I don't know. Right, Percival is ready. Let's use this meteor ability. That sounds pretty cool. Hit all monsters. Well, I don't really need to, but... So how does this work? Hits all monsters and deal 12 damage. Okay. Sure. Bonk. Hilarious. Nicely done, but it looks like you can't break that imp and stop it from hitting Percival. Sure, use his magical barrier to add some armor to everyone. An attack that only hits armor applies no curses. I didn't realize there were curses, but give all Dwellers 7 armor. Armor is removed before health. It's just normal armor stuff. Okay. But it negates dots, debuff, and thorns. That's actually much better than a normal armor thing. Okay, while that armor has helped, the imp is still going to hit blah 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 health and apply burn. But I thought it prevented. If I still had armor left, it probably wouldn't give me the burn. Is that it? Perhaps the spell will help. Click on your spell book. So they're really throwing a lot of the mechanics very early on, just like throwing everything at you. So let's see. What is this? Give 1 Delver 10 armor. Okay. Cool. Spells can be used in any Delver's turn and reduce their cooldown when a new round starts. So these are not... I thought these were consumable like spells, but no, apparently this is an additional thing we can just have constantly in the battle. Okay, that's a lot of things you can do in this game so far. You have 1 spell available at the moment, but you'll get more from the unlock tree. Okay, so it is a roguelite, as I expected. As you battle through the realm of dungeons. You got it. Okay, next. The imp just regained a BP. Regain 1 at the start of their turn. That makes sense. So I didn't get burned because I had armor left. A new round has started, so you got Kaijin again. Got it. I've taught you all that I can. You're more than ready to finish off these monsters. Great. Hopefully this is the end of the tutorial. So how does this cleave work? Attacks all monsters and deal 10? Sure. So then I can also... Well, theoretically, I don't want to use... Yeah, I don't want to use Team AP. Okay, and you are... What does this do? Gain Thorns, got it. And this is Taunt, right? And protects the Delver, redirecting all monster attacks. Cool. So, the one thing I'm confused... Oh, okay, no. I'm assuming you always get to see where the enemy targets. But here, I think the monster is just trying to heal himself, so... I'm just gonna... Why is... Oh, it's half? Why is it half? I don't know. I'm just gonna skip. And just go to you. Okay. Got it. So... Jesus! Oh, whoa, 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 hey! Oh, okay, this is like the... Oh, this is like the trailer. Ooh, jeez, the sound effects got much louder. Cool, cool. So it's like a kind of a little trailer after the tutorial to just get you hyped about what you could expect visually. That's smart, you know, for a turn-based game like that, to really show the cool little things you can expect from a game. Is retrieving the keystone from the Pharaoh's tomb. Okay, okay. We did it. We got to the menu. Nice. Interesting tutorial. I mean, they really threw everything at you without much breathing room. I think it was a good tutorial. But obviously there was a lot going on. You had 3 characters, all with a bunch of abilities, and you had to use one ability, use one ability, use one ability, oh, also AP, oh, and also spells, or and also action points, and there's a lot going on. I think it was a good tutorial. I'm hoping that that information is always available to the player during the game without having to go through loops and loops to figure out what some of these mechanics are. Again, because obviously, yeah, I got all the information, but I want to make sure that I can always retrieve this information in case I get a little lost and confused. But that was cool. I am very curious how the run starts. Do you start with 3 characters? Do you pick your characters? How many abilities? How strong were my characters? Were those actual level 1s or were those level 10 characters? Who knows? I still have so many questions. I'm quite excited. Now that we're in the hub, though, I want to take a look at what the game has to offer. So spell books. So these are like always the same stuff? Every single time? Doesn't matter. Oh, wait. No. There's a lot of spells. Okay. Oh, there's a few possibilities for each of these. The defensive, supporting, healing, and aggressive. You could choose which one you want. Now, can I switch those here? No. Interesting. So I have to unlock those somehow. Got money here. Got a bunch of currencies. Okay, one step at a time. So this is the upgrade tree for the different heroes. But I can unlock a bunch of heroes. Currently, we seem to have the three ones we got for the tutorial are the ones that are available to us. They always seem to have the same abilities to start with. And it does seem like, oh yeah, it does seem like some of these are very, very powerful things to add, right? Like Blaze gains increased AP regeneration. Oh man, that seems really powerful. You can also increase the power level of Inferno Sword. So this does feel like a very grindy game. Which again, that's totally fair. I'm not saying that. I feel like the word grindy has bad connotation. Not always. Settings. Let's take a look at the settings here. Maintain, anti-ass, shadow, cool, gamma. I will say, this is a little thing. But if you're making a game, and you think that there's no point in having a master volume because you have all these little things here to adjust it manually, please add a master volume. It is so nice to just not have to try to calibrate your music and sound effects like to your preference. A lot of people just want to be fast. I love it when there's a master volume. You just don't have to worry about the music and sound effects. You trust the game to have placed it however it's supposed to be. I love master volume. Tiny little thing there, but mwah, I love it. Thank you for giving me these options. So this really does give me, yeah, a lot of grindiness here. Heal Dolo for 16 and remove all curses. Now, I don't know if these are just upgrades. Level 3, level 4. Yes, these are upgrades to spells that you may have. So this is like an upgrade to the heal. So it's not just like select a spell. This is just upgrade stuff, it seems. There might be a few spells you can choose from afterwards, but these are just straight upgrades. So this does make me feel like our first run is going to be pretty tough. The spell book also having more spells just seems straight up a benefit, because I don't think using one puts the others on cooldown, so we just start with less spells currently. I'm confused about why is this here? Braced body. Oh! Wait a minute. So these defensive spells are connected to the characters you're playing with? Maybe. I don't know. Interesting. Let's start a run, see how it goes. I'm very curious how it's gonna go. So we can choose our team. Right, so attack, defense, utility. He really does not look like a healer, I'm gonna be honest. This looks wizardy, full on, not port healing vibe, but maybe it was a wizard who decided to go for... Wait, it actually is. Often referred to as the wizened wizard, persevered many years of study, are vital when it comes to taking down monsters and keeping an adventure party alive. Call down meteors and conjure magical barriers to protect himself. Yeah, it's a wizard healer? Sure. So let's quickly just learn the abilities we have. So these are the things that we can always use, and these are on cooldown. Let's remember that. It seems like everybody has 4 attacks, possibly more later on. We could attack for 10, heal for 10. You get a meteor, 12 to everybody, and armor to everyone. Got it. You have 12, so a little bit more damage on attacks. And you can also armor up a hero and redirect it to them. Blaze gains thorns for 2 turns, deals 5 damage to people that hit him. And then this one, Flaming Strike, apply burn when dealing unblockable damage. Got it. It's just like a nice little base attack cost plus 1 AP. Base attack is this? Or base attack of this. I'm not too sure yet. And then you, that's my main DPS dealer, 14 damage, 10 to everybody. Is there a difference between this and the meteor? Oh, that's 12, and it's on the cooldown, costs a little more. Got it. Hits one monster, dealing 10, and applying weak. That's pretty good if someone's about to deal a lot of damage to us. And it's one monster, dealing a bunch of damage and making them potentially vulnerable. Got it. So I think, yeah, I figured out everything in that regard. We have our skill tree. The one thing I kind of forgot is how fast is AP? Oh yeah, AP is half of the player, but I don't think it's rounded up or down. I actually think you can have half AP, which is cool, I guess. I have to remember that. So I only get like 2.5 AP per turn, but I start with 5. So you don't really want to send everything up front, theoretically. Okay, let's do it. So we want to start with the Pharaoh. Boss is beaten, 0 out of 4, high score. You have a corruption thing for if you've completed it multiple times. I love it, it's kind of like an amusement park. Are you ready, kids? Go into the haunted pyramid. Woo! Chapter 1. Okay, so there's multiple chapters within. Those are all the 4 bosses, I imagine? Yeah, those are the 4 bosses. Ooh, I like the look of that snake. Spooky snake. So let's see if we can take down the sentinels and how long it will take to kill the sentinels. I realize they seem to put there seems to be some effort put into the lore and a lot of the description of all these things. Let's play that. Sentinels. Okay, is that the real map? That looks like the real map? Cool. Okay, so we start off straight into it. I'm very, very curious about the roguelike elements and what's happening between fights. That's the one thing I still don't know. We know a lot about the gameplay, but I don't know anything about in between the gameplay. Are they all doing cleaves? Doombat attack all dwellers, dealing 5 damage and applying burn. That seems rough. I forgot how to get team AP back. So what are these? We've got... What is that? I don't want to press things and create something. Equipped relics. Okay. Speed. Surrendering. Leaving. Options are just this. Now, once again, I was hoping that I would be able to find the information about the tutorial stuff. It seems like it is not easily available, unfortunately. For instance, I kind of forgot how Team AP works, but we'll figure it out. They all have different little icons on top. Also, there's no music, it seems like. There is, like, ambient sound. Like wind, but there doesn't seem to be any music. Alright, so these are on how much cooldown? Do I know how long the cooldown is on these things? Oh, no. But let's take care of those. Oh, right, that's a one-time thing. I forgot. That's gonna stun this guy. Cool. So we don't have to worry about him. And okay, and breaking them gives me team AP. That's right. I do like this mechanic. I do like that. Let's go next to our friend here. So they're all gonna attack. Now, what is the... How do I know... Why is there 50% chance on this, 60 here, and 70? Do I have, like, inherent stats on my characters? Because I'm a little confused why the probability is different if I don't seem to have stats visually. There might be stats on my characters, but I don't see it. Okay, well, it seems like it's easier to hit my healer, harder to hit my tank for some reason. I'm assuming that the cooldown is just for this fight, right? That I can just use all my cooldown abilities. I would hope so. I don't know actually, but I'm gonna hope so. Cool. Let's do this, and let's just go next. So I could use my meteor attack here, honestly. Meteor into killing this guy. Doesn't seem too bad. And then I can... Oh! Wait, is he broken? Okay, the bat is broken. So I could do this. And I might use a team AP here to break this bat again, so I don't take any damage this time around. Cool. It does feel like the fire triggers at the beginning of their turn, which is good. And now I can probably just play my normal attacks here and kill them off. Okay, now the thing is, I used all my cooldowns, so I'm hoping the cooldown does regenerate in between fights. Alright, finally, let's take a look at what the roguelike stuff is gonna be like. Upgrade available. So, okay, we do have stats. I don't know where the stats were, but we do have stats, clearly. So, it seems like I can just upgrade one of the 3 characters with a random thing. So I can upgrade the attack to power attack. I would really like to have a comparison. I guess a comparison just shows here. Yeah, it shows here. Okay, that makes sense. So it's plus 4 damage. It goes from 12 to 13. Well, theoretically, that's percentage-wise, it's better to do it on my tank. Or I can just give my healer more stats, but I would rather get more damage on my tank. Sure, let's do that. Okay, so far it seems to you get like a reward after a fight, and then you get to pick your path before going to your next battle. Different path has different difficulties and rewards. Is there like actual inherent difficulty? I don't know. I don't know what any of these icons are, but it doesn't tell you what these are. I guess we just have to explore. I probably don't need health. This seems like one of the currencies. Let's try that. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. You can show you. Oh, there actually are inherent difficulties. Fight the elites of dungeon to gain extra resources. Take on challenging monsters to gain gold. Okay, so it actually tells you everything. Heroes are healed at the path's end. Okay, so these are also battles then. Maybe. Let's grab some gold. Okay, stage 2 out of 10. Got it. Okay, now, I'm really curious about the stats. Because clearly it gave me like +1 defense and 15 health on this guy. So clearly there's gotta be a stat page somewhere, right? I would love to see. And okay, I got confirmation. It does not reset my cooldown between fights. Good to know. I felt like that was too easy otherwise. So I'm confused why I can't seem to find my stats. Also, I have to remember that this is this I can use whenever I want, right? It's just like a free thing. It also doesn't tell me the cooldown, does it? Does it show the cooldown somewhere? I feel like I'm missing the cooldown. Yeah, it doesn't tell me the cooldown. It's a bit disappointing to not have the cooldown on here. Okay. Alright. So this crab is going to deal 7 and apply weak, which is not great against my damage dealer. The Skelebro is just going to deal 20 damage. 20 damage is quite a bit on my healer. So we could try to stance break them here. We might do a cleave, to be honest, just to get things going. It is a normal attack. You can always do that cleave, pretty much. I'm gonna try to... Oh, wait. Okay, there's nothing I can do about this... About the... I said crab. About the scorpion. So, scorpion, I just have to, you know, face the fact that it's gonna occur. Let's weaken the scorpion, I think? No, let's weaken the bat, because I am trying to stance break it. Okay, I don't want to use Team AP yet, so I'm just gonna skip. 7 damage is fine, plus a weakness, whatever, I can deal with that. Okay, so during the tutorial, they didn't show all them attacking. I was confused. That is just because it was a tutorial. You can always see their attacks. That makes a lot more sense. Right, so this is upgraded, and I need to stun both of those, pretty much, both of them. And I think I can, so I'm gonna do stun here, a stun here, and I'm noticing that I'm actually... Oh. I'm getting a lot of AP. I did miss my attack, though. 60%. Apparently, just this Skelebro has... Can I see the stats? I don't see the stats on the Skelebro, but it just tells me that I'm less likely to hit them. Interesting. Well, hopefully I hit them. Nice. What does this thing do again? Oh, that's the thorns. Okay, so Skelebro is back. Can I kill them? No. I don't care about the bat. Bat's gonna die fairly soon. I mean, I could just take care of it now, because I don't deal much damage with this character anyway. Do I use my third one? It is pretty expensive, but it might be worth it. Okay. Okay, so this the crab is Scorpion. Scorpion's gonna attack my my healer again, and I'm realizing now the impact of not having much AP left. Right, I kind of went a little too hard at the beginning, I think. Oh, that's sad. Let's do it again. Yeah, well, I'm gonna try to conserve my AP for the next fight. 10 damage is okay. They got armor on. That's fine. Let's take it slowly. We'll do one here. Might use a team AP. Oh wait, they're doing a really annoying attack here. They're hitting everyone for 12. That's bad. So we really do want to break the stance. I do have everybody coming up afterwards, so I'm just gonna do this and skip. All right. I probably could have done that better. But that was... I like the fact that they definitely felt like there was quite a bit of strategy involved in a lot of this. Cool. Okay, so it seemed like after every fight, there's a random upgrade for each character. You can look at all the possible characters' random upgrades and choose which one is more interesting for you going for, right? So here, regains AP. Blaze on use, I imagine? Okay, so it costs half an AP less, pretty much, is what it says. That's it, right? Nothing else? Or I could give my healer slash mage plus 4 attack, which is a big increase from 10. 10 to 14. I'm surprised it's not a percentage base, because clearly it's way less powerful for my DPS that it's already dealing 14, so plus 4 on 14 versus plus 4 on 10 is just percentage-wise a drastic difference. So I'm gonna give plus 4 on my healer, because my healer's not gonna be healing much until I really need to. Okay, so this is the elite fight, I would imagine. This was the force attack, the forced one. So they're first, and she gave them all focused, chance to hit with attack. So a higher chance of hitting with their attacks. Got it. So what are you doing? He's gonna give thorns to everyone. So he's like the tank. She's the support, and he's probably the DPS guy. I mean, vulnerable. Okay. Okay. I could try to stun the tank. Dealing 14 is a big amount, but that's coming up next turn, all things considered. This is clearly the time to use my cooldowns. So let's try to stun the crocodile. And I might keep my AP. No. It's good to use this early. Like, using your basic attack for 1 is usually pretty worth it, I would say. A tank is next. Then it's going to be the mummy who's going to attack my healer. So I might actually try to protect my healer, redirect the attack towards my tank. And I guess I could give myself thorns while I'm at it. Cool. And attack the tank for 1. Oh shoot! I need to attack twice because the tank is coming up right after me. Oh, I should have looked at that better. But that's okay. 70%er versus 100%er. Let's get the 100%er. We need to make sure that we take care of this tank. Cool. Okay, that felt pretty good. Now that the mummy's gonna attack and take some damage. Does armor... Wait, when does armor leave? Armor is removed before health. Wait, armor just stays? Oh, armor just stays. Wow. Okay, armor is way better than I thought. I'm so used to having these turn-based games that have armor just leave after the end of the turn, but no. How do you regain team AP? When you pass their turn, they regain half their maxed AP. I think that's the only way. Oh, no, sorry. Team AP. Team AP. I think it's through breaking stances or / killing enemies. But again, they told me during the tutorial, but I kind of forgot because there was a lot of information. So I don't seem to be able to get that information back. So I do not know for certain. But let's do this attack. Wait, can I? What is this again? Give all dwellers 7 armor. I might just do this. 7 armor. Yoink. And meteor. Bonk. Nice. And I'm actually going to use this. It's pretty useful to do this. I'm going to try to stun this guy later on. Round 2. So I deal less damage, which is kind of annoying. But I can stun this guy. She's doing a lot of damage. I'm going to do this, weaken it, and potentially use an AP. I think I have to use an AP, right? Because I'm actually using Team AP. I actually get retrieved Team AP faster than I expected. Can I kill this guy? Ooh, no, I cannot anymore. I think I'm going to redirect. Okay, the fortified. That's fine. Okay, let's try to kill... Oh, what is this guy doing? Oh, lifesteal. 15 damage. Well, we can break the stance of her. 80%er, please. Thank you. Great. That's really good. So we should be fine against her. I'm not going to use a team AP for this. Okay, we have a few turns to kill off this mummy. Great. And please don't screw that one up. 80%er. Beautiful. Oh, I don't want to use my cooldown. Cool. Alright. Cool, that went pretty well. And that was pretty fun. I mean, there was quite a few strategies considering that this is just our starting characters. I felt like there was quite a bit to play around with from the start. Usually these kinds of grindy, like turn-based games, the beginning fights are really boring, but here there was quite a bit of decisions to make with your team ability points and everything. Kind of cool. We can give my Blaze more. I still really would love to see my stats, but I'm probably sure I could find a way to find that. Greatly heals, so +5 healing or +4 damage on my basic attack. Accuracy +1. I don't know what accuracy +1 does, right? I don't know if it's like +20% accuracy, +10% or 5%, because again, I don't have a conception of. That was my bad. It's okay. It's fine. That's probably the right one to do. Okay, so since we beat an elite, we get a choice of a relic. So I could heal, or I could get a relic. Obviously, I want to get a relic. All dwellers gain 2 armor on round 2. That's really good. 1 random monster gain 2 weak. That's the start of every combat. That's not as good. Gain 10 increased gold while in the dungeon. Honestly, I know this is apparently a better like level, but 7 armor, considering armor does not disappear, this seems really solid. Cool. So that was the elite. All right. Interesting. I'm liking the direction this has. I kind of wish I could see all the map because I like just seeing the full map. Fight the elites in the dungeon. No, are those exactly the same options though? I'm not sure. Let's try to do the elites. So is this like the harder fight? Really? Maybe it's just by stats. Okay, so my team AP is pretty high, so I could definitely use some. They don't seem to deal much damage, which is good. Let's do this. I really like using 1 basic attack every turn, because it's just 1 AP, right? That's really good value, all things considered. I might use another one. Yeah. Okay. I could redirect. I think I am going to redirect. Now, interestingly enough, it doesn't nullify the middle attack on this guy, but that's fine. Okay, so I think my mage is going to wait. Can I see my mage's ability? Oh, I wish I could see the cooldown on my abilities. Can I? It doesn't show you the cooldown that I have on my abilities. That's a shame. Okay, that's fine. Let's soften up this mummy. And I guess I'm going to wait. I'm going to keep some of that. Wow, that's lucky. I'm going to use my big attack here. There you go, to break everybody. Let's do this, and let's use an AP. Cool, so I'm going to regain 1 team AP. Actually, I might gain 2 AP at the end of this fight. That's something to keep in mind. Okay, so he's buffing, so that means I have a free. I could do whatever I want here. I can honestly just wait because we're gonna get it. We're gonna get 2 free. I mean, theoretically, I could just do this, and that should give me back all my AP, my team AP, because then we cleared the monster, right? We win a fight, so we gain team AP. Got it. Cool. Nice. So the only thing I did use was a cooldown on my mage. Okay, so what do we got here? Regains AP. Got it. More healing or breaking gives berserk. Ooh, I like unique abilities like that. That's cool. I like this kind of upgrade. Gains berserk for every monster broken. Now, can I deal 50% more damage? Wow, that's cool. That's cool. I like this kind of upgrade. That's like more strategic thing. Like, it's nice to have like something you can try to play around with an upgrade as opposed to just stats, which I'm fine with stats. I'm also realizing that I can only go up to level 6, 3 on each. It might just be strategically you will always get 3 by the very end. Similar to Slice and Dice has a similar mechanic where like it's always strategically you will always max out everything at the very end of the run. That's my guess. So then we have Berserk. Okay. So we're back here. So this guy is once again planning on giving thorns and armor to everyone. That's annoying. It would be nice to break the stance. And I do have a way of breaking stance. Like this. I'm gonna try to keep that for actually breaking someone else's stance. Let's do this. Even though this is an elite, I think I don't think they increased the stats of these two. I don't think they went for like, oh, you can just reuse the same monster, but you just increase the stats depending on the kind of combat. I actually think like the different enemies have different stats. Although I'm still not fully understanding the icons. Are these the difficulty of the monsters? I don't know. In any case, I could use a bunch of Team AP. I'm actually considering using a bunch of Team AP here. So I can break the stance and get Berserk. So Berserk, does this deal 50% more damage? Does this leave at the end right now? Oh, it does. Okay, got it. It's at the end of the turn. So you actually have to use it a bit differently. It's kind of cool. I do enjoy that system. But interesting. I don't need to use thorns, honestly. I'm just gonna do this and this. Cool. Bonk. You suck. Alright, you do this. Ooh, 7 left. It felt like it was gonna be more, but apparently not. Let's do this. And let's keep your AP. I guess I'm... Yeah. Oh, wait, I forgot. I could just heal. That's probably a good idea at this point, because healing is actually permanent. I have to remember that I should probably heal when I can. Cool, I got my armor now. Why did she not get armor? I missed that. Why didn't she get any armor? I don't know why she didn't get any armor. Oh well. Attack. So again, he's just, yeah, the mummy is fine. I don't have to worry about the mummy. Just getting stronger, but I'll have 2 turns to break its stance and all that good stuff. Gonna heal a little bit. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine to take it slow here. There we go. There we go. Wonderful. Cool. Nice. Again, very enjoyable gameplay for a game that really seems to be about grindiness, you know? Colored icons are when you have 2 enemies the same, you can see the turn order. When you have 2 enemies the same, you can see the turn... Oh, it's just to differentiate them. I see. More accuracy on changing and going first. I don't know how I feel about going first, because, well, I mean, it's too late anyways, but... Let's see. Regain AP on armor protect is not too shabby. I like having the possibility of not having him maxed out, because then I can always have more options, right? So... Okay, now this is the elite fight, I think. It is the elite, okay. Difficulty elite. Okay, so what do you do? Or you just deal 20. Okay, that's fine. You also deal 20. You two do exactly the same thing. Okay, well that's kind of scary. I can't see how many points I have. I think you have 5. And you're doing the same thing. You're doing the annoying thing. I still want to try to prioritize breaking you down. That does mean I'm still taking a lot of damage here, but I might just redirect everything, and that might just be fine, honestly. So let's try to break your stance. I might try to weaken you. Hopefully I'll have enough. You know what? I'm gonna do this. There we go. Okay, let's redirect. There we go. 50%er. That's pretty good, actually. I could do it twice. Interesting. Break you, that's great, and I'm definitely giving myself thorns in this instance. And I might even fire you to make you deal less damage in case they both go through. So you're fortified. Okay, you attack, you missed, and you attack and you miss as well. Okay, you didn't miss. Oh, that's cool. Okay, let's do a meteor. Wait, how much damage does it deal? Does it tell me if I'm gonna kill it? 12. It doesn't. I kind of wish it would tell you, like, more information, because right now it does look like I would kill this monster visually, but apparently it is not the case, because I'm only dealing 12. So visually, I kind of wish it was a little different in that regard. Yeah, because it's hard to tell that that wasn't the case. Okay. Let's do this. And I don't think I need armor anymore. I think I'm doing just fine here. I will get another, like, round. So, oh yeah, and I still don't understand why you don't get armor. Why don't you get armor? Do you not have the option of getting armor? Oh, okay, it does give you the cooldown, by the way, on the looking things. I still don't understand why you don't get armor. Alright, that's fine. Oh my gosh! Double break! Ha 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 ha! Cool. That felt good. I can take it slow. I can take it slow. Don't have to be too pressing here. Wait. Armor does go away. Armor does go away. Does it? Did it say that? Armor is removed before health? No, it doesn't say it. Okay, it's not as powerful as I thought. It doesn't tell you that the armor goes away. If that is what I think it does, right? Because it's a little confusing, but... Okay, that was a little confusing. Got it. Yeah, I really wish visually it would be a little different. Okay, got it. Alright, so you're going to deal a lot of damage. Huzzah! Woo! Boom! Nice! Easy elite. Okay, I once again could get this. Once again could get healing, or once again more... Okay, let's get this, because actually the armor is still good, obviously. Upgrade that. Wonderful. Alright, press, and we will collapse top. You can see bars. Oh, nice. The Chalice of Life is not bad. It doesn't... Again, like, regaining health, yeah, it's good, but it doesn't help the battle, right? Negate the first curse applied to a Delver. I mean, yeah, I'll take it. It's fancy, right? But... it's not like the craziest thing, I would say, from a gameplay. Okay, so it always is the same thing, isn't it? I don't know what monster gold is. Let's go here. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue playing just these battles, and then I'll circle back when I'm fighting the boss at the end of the run. So I will see you in a minute, and I'll let you know if anything interesting happens when we get to the boss. So, bye-bye. Okay. Alright. So this is supposedly the last boss of this run. Yep. Difficulty boss. Got it. Cool. Nice. And again, she loses all... Okay, so they both lose all of their armor. I just took a relic that gives both, like, armor on turn 1, but it's useless. I find it interesting that armor is removed at the beginning of a player's turn and not at the end of the full turn. That's very odd to me, because normally most games would just remove the armor when you get to the last character, like last boss, which I feel like would be would be nicer in this instance, because right now it just feels like that relic that I got actually punishes me for being fast, which is an odd thing to me, but... okay, so be it. Everybody's trying to attack my my DPSer again. Let's do the same thing as last time. Let's do this here, and we're gonna stun the Skelebro. Yeah, we're gonna stun the Skelebro. Okay. Gain a bit of AP. You know what? I'm also going to reduce your damage a little bit. Okay, I see. So this could actually, but again, you get punished for evading it because you don't gain the half AP if you have good evasion. So you kind of get punished for having good stats. That's unfortunate. So you're weak. So honestly, I'm feeling like I should try to get you killed eventually and burn you and skip. So now you're gonna miss, but unfortunately I don't gain AP for having done that. I feel like I'm getting punished for unfortunate stuff. And you're gonna attack here, but I don't really care. I mean, you do remove my armor. It's annoying, but who cares? I don't know if the meteor is super worth it. Let's do this. And let's keep the team AP here. Okay, that's fine. Let's do this. Cool. That felt pretty good. And I can use this for 27. I'm going to use it twice. Honestly, this is really powerful. It's the last fight, so I don't care about my team AP anymore. I mean, supposedly this is the last fight, right? Voila! I unlocked a chest, and what do I get in this chest? More money and more scarabs. I thought that the money would be for the run, but apparently not. Gold earn S, root difficulty B, damage taken SS. So I did some good. My rating is pretty good. That's cool. And I unlocked the next dungeon. I'm glad you made it through the sand dune safely. You even brought back some gold and those exclusive scarabs. Head back to the tower. I'd like to talk with you for a second. So he's probably going to talk about the upgrades I can do now. Defeated sentinels and you made your first steps towards getting those keystones. Dungeons hold vast amounts of gold and unique treasures bound to each island. The Pharaoh's tomb holds these scarabs, relics of a bygone era that holds great power. You can use this power to help you meta progress. Yes, got it. Yes, I did read that. Cool. Cool. So once again, I need gold and scarabs to upgrade these things. And later on, I'll also need some skulls. Collect from chapter 2 and the crystals from chapter 3. Okay, so you can get different currencies depending on which level you are playing. I could also unlock new characters with just straight gold. Okay, got it. So, basically, there's a lot of characters, I will say. So basically, everything needs gold, but you're always getting gold, whichever chapter you're on. But then, depending on the chapter you want to play, you'll get different currency. So if there's something specific that you want to upgrade, but you need a specific currency, you might have to go back to the very beginning to collect some scarabs. But it might not just be the easiest dungeon you have to do again, even though you're OP, because you can always increase the difficulty of the earlier biomes and levels with the corruption thing. Okay, so corruptions, you'll unlock corruptions a little by completing a chapter. Yeah, so I'm sure that even at a very, very high level, you could probably always do a tomb at a very high difficulty because you can just set the different corruptions. So you always have, you might always come back for scarabs, which is a nice way of making sure that you just don't progress and never come back to the earlier stuff. Here, there seems to be a reason, right? Cool. Alright, Dungeonfell. Very interesting game. Quite a few things to talk about with this kind of game. And I'm really happy that I got to feature this on this series because I will say that we've played a lot of turn-based games for the Next Big Roguelike series. I guess most of them were deck-building games. Understandably so, because this seems to be more of a trend for roguelikes these days. In doing turn-based game that is not a deck-building game, usually tends to be a bit more unique and different than what we're used to. So it's nice to have one of those games. So let's go through the normal list. First, let's talk about the audio, visuals, the overall vibe, mood of the game. Visually, things are cute. I mean, I think I use the word cute a lot. I like the term cute. It's usually a compliment. The game is semi-serious, but it takes itself fairly seriously in terms of, like, you know, you're in a quest, you know, everybody's, look at everybody's face, right? Everybody's super serious. I mean, you can't even see her face. That's how you know it's serious. But, you know, it's also not returnal serious, right? It's a nice little blend of it, you know, being a game that, you know, tries to have a whole story and really tries to push the players to get all the gems in order to deal with the monsters. But it's also charming visually, right? And I think it's, you know, it's a cute blend in that regard for me. You know, the 3D art is good. It's nothing too, you know, out there. It's nothing too crazy unique in that regard, but I think it fits with what they're going for. And I think especially this game, you know, was started as a mobile game, at least. I don't know the backstory in that regard, but it seems to have been the case, and it could very easily be a mobile game. I can see that this kind of art, where it kind of pops out, right? Like, the visuals are very clear, and I think that's quite nice to have if you're going to be having a small screen, as opposed to hand-drawn kind of art that you need, you know, more details to really be focused on. I think this visually makes more sense if you're planning on having a small screen, and in general, yeah, it has a charming look. In terms of the audio, I like the music. You know, it doesn't go too crazy musically. I kind of wish there was a bit more music during some of the fights. Sometimes things felt a little bit empty while I was fighting monsters, and I kind of wish there was more of a visual and audio difference between elites and normal enemies, because sometimes it was hard for me to kind of differentiate it from an audio and a visual standpoint. But when there is music, when there's ambient, I think it's nice. I mean, right now, you know, you might not be able to hear it much, but it's very chill, you know, ambient. And when you go to the spell book, you get this kind of like magical, almost like spacey like audio that transitions from back to the menu a very nice way. It doesn't like abruptly cut. I think it works even better here. Like, it actually fits a very like spacey vibe, which is not something I would have expected. But it fits really well. You know, you feel like you're actually you're looking at the stars, you know, and I think that fits very well. So I think there's a nice amount of details in that regard. I wish there was just slightly more differentiation during the actual runs between the fights and the combat and everything. But that being said, I've only done 1.5 runs. So I didn't really fully get to see that in action. And again, in these kinds of games, like games that you're planning on being grindy and just being fairly quick, you don't want the music to be too distracting and too like over the top during your fights, because the idea is that you're trying to move on and on faster. But I kind of wish that the final boss had more noticeable music. But yeah, overall, I would say the ambient is nice. The visuals, they're solid. I like the main menu music. There's some good detail here. So yeah, pretty solid in that regard. Let's talk core gameplay. I think the core gameplay of the game is probably its strongest suit to me so far. The fact that from the start, I felt like there were some nice strategies between fights that I was able to, you know, have the choice of, should I attack now or conserve energy? Should I use some of my preserved energy, my team AP? Which ability should I use? I can also use my spells. There seems to be a nice amount of options from a strategic side of things. Now, again, I don't want to say that this is like full-on mobile and everything, but I want to make a comparison to Raid Shadow Legends. Not sponsored, I know, believe it or not, right? I'm a YouTuber who's not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. You can still sponsor me, please. You know, I played Raid Shadow Legends a little bit. I haven't played many mobile games, to be honest, just so you know. But Raid Shadow Legends, from the start, felt way less strategic. When I started playing Raid Shadow Legends, yeah, the Raid Shadow Legends has been going on for a while, so there's a lot of content. A lot more than most games, because they've done very well, and there's been constantly updating for years at this point. But the core gameplay of Raid Shadow Legends, for instance, is way less interesting than a game like this to me. Here, I feel like it's not just a matter of cooldown, there's also the team AP aspect that I find much more interesting, as well as some of the actual roguelike elements that you get during the run, which we'll be talking about in just a moment. But the fact that you also have your spell book, and I've only have a single option for the spell book, but there seems to be plenty of options. There seems to be like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get like 5 options for 4 different spells once you know, get enough things unlocked. That seems like a lot of things to play around with. But that's definitely going to be more mid to late game that you're going to get all these options, right? But the fact that you already start with one and then you can, you know, kind of use it whenever you want, gives you a bit of freedom, and I think that's really cool. So yeah, the actual gameplay itself, I think is quite solid. It's not too complicated, right? It's not like crazy out there. It's not trying to be the next Into the Breach in terms of strategy, but that's not the point. You know, the point of the game is you don't spend hours on a turn trying to figure out what the best option is. You're trying to be fairly fast while knowing that, you know, if you are good with strategy games, that you can actually really benefit from it from doing the right plays. And I think the team AP system that you can't see, but it's right there, is probably one of the coolest aspects of it. Now, I haven't played Raid Shadow Legends in a while. If Raid Shadow Legends has exactly the same system, then all that I said about Raid Shadow Legends, I'm sorry, I didn't know. But in my experience, that kind of system is not in there. In any case, it doesn't matter whether. I mean, it was just an interesting comparison to me. But all things considered, I like the system. That's the end of it. So I think the core gameplay, I think it's a great blend of fast-paced, simple, while still being fairly strategic to not be just like pressing and not thinking. I think it's a good blend in that regard. Before talking about the roguelike elements, I want to talk about the enemy variety and the character variety, right? So, well, actually, I guess we'll blend a little bit with the roguelike elements. So, you do start with only 3 characters, and you can't really change that until you get enough money to buy another character. Now, it does seem like buying another character doesn't take too long. From what I've seen, you do seem to get enough money fairly quickly for me to buy another character. Yeah, 15,000, 25. But you get 2 characters for 9,000, which you could probably get in like 2 runs. So, and then you could start getting the 15,000. I haven't played enough to really know, but I don't think it'll take that much time to get there, in my opinion. So, that's quite nice. Now, unfortunately, I don't know much about the character differences, right? I mean, I could read them and I could get an idea, and I think I get a fairly I think I get an idea of the differences of how it would feel between the characters. But you know, there's a lot of things to visually. I'm not going to read full on to get an idea of like, oh yeah, I could try to do this team composition. Obviously, that will take some amount of playing to try to be able to have different teams. But I think it's cool that this game seems to have, you know, a fairly large selection of characters to cross-select. Now, I don't know if you can have, you know, like a team of tanks and a team of supports, a team of healers. It would be cool if you could just be like, I want to do a team of 3 tanks. Screw it. Is that an option, or is the game stopping you from doing that? I will hopefully figure that out before the end of the video. But I like the fact that, you know, there seems to be some cool compositions that you could try to do. There's a lot of possibilities to start off with from the start of every run. Hopefully it doesn't take too much time to unlock more than just 1 to 2 characters, so you can play around with multiple things. But it seems like I like the amount of variety that the game has currently, and it seems like they're going to be adding more and more. If, you know, this is the kind of game that could easily just add more heroes, add more upgrades, more stuff. In terms of the enemy variety, so I haven't seen too much, obviously, right? In the one run, I did feel like I was encountering, you know, the same enemies fairly consistently to the point where I knew their movesets in one run. So there didn't seem to be a crazy amount of enemy variety from my first run. That might change as I continue moving forward. I hope there's a bit more enemy variety. What I will say, one thing that I did notice that was almost a little disappointing to me was that I think, to my understanding, unless I was very unlucky, every single enemy will always start with the same attack. So the crocodile always buffs their enemy team. The Sphinx always gives all her teammate accuracy. The scorpion always attacks and inflicts weak. The skeleton always does 20 damage. The big pharaoh guys always deal 20 and 15 and also sunder the armor. I think currently they always do that on the first turn. And I kind of wish that they would have options, kind of like in Slay the Spire. So in Slay the Spire, a lot of enemies do always have, you know, a cycle of a certain amount of abilities, but they don't always start with the same thing over and over again, to kind of give a bit more variety so that you don't feel like you're always fighting the same fight, especially if you don't have a crazy large library of possible enemies. So if there are not many enemies, at least in the first biome, which seemed to be the case for me, then I kind of wish they had a bit more variety in terms of their attacks, at least, and as to which order they used them, instead of just being the first, always doing the same thing. Because even on my first run, I felt like before getting to the final boss, which was very enjoyable actually, it felt like a lot of the battles felt fairly similar in just my one run already. So that would be one thing I would say about the enemies. I like their design, and I like their abilities. I think there was definitely some cool, you know, abilities to play around with. The fact that you had to try to figure out when to stun them. Oh, also part of the core gameplay that I really like, the stun mechanic, right? I didn't say that before, but I think that's fantastic, because it's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna whack. No, you can actually strategically try to break the enemy stance at the right time. That's great. I love that system. I think that's fantastic. That's also one of the reasons why I think the core gameplay is very strong from the start. I think visually getting to see the bosses, like the end bosses, and they all look quite different, is really cool. I want to fight this snake. This snake looks awesome. I think visually, I like the fact that, you know, the bosses seems to have some good amount of details. I do wish there was even more details in the normal enemies that you get to fight until then. But again, maybe that will change very quickly as I go forward more and more in this biome, because I hope I don't always fight the same skeleton throughout all these 4 chapters, and that skeleton is in most of the fights throughout the runs. So I don't know that. That would be one thing I would say. Enemy design on the bosses is really solid. I like the fact that there's, again, also a lot of lore and put into every single one of these bosses. That's super cool. I'm excited to try out more characters. Obviously, I will not get a full rundown of how they feel right now, but I'll definitely be continuing to play this game anyways. Let's talk about the roguelike elements. So, there's a few cool things about the roguelike elements. So throughout the run, right, how will the run feel at the beginning versus the end? I think you do feel much stronger at the end, which is cool. You feel like there's a lot of things that are given to players. I like the fact that every fight you get rewarded, right? So there could have been a world where this game didn't give you, that didn't always give you things after each fight. It would just be like, oh, here's some currency for your hub world. that's great, but I think it's very important for roguelikes to always give some sort of a reward that feels good to players after a fight in a turn-based game. Because turn-based games are much slower than action games. And so if you don't give players something to look for, like to play with after finishing a fight, I think that can easily be a big no-no for a lot of turn-based games. And it does feel like every single time I finished a fight here, I would get to upgrade one of my character's actual abilities or get a relic. And I think that's great. Maybe I'm a little off, but I think that's how it works, right? You always get either an upgrade or you always get a relic. That's awesome. Makes you feel like you always want to finish a fight and win, so you get stronger and stronger. It's actually very similar to Slice and Dice in that regard, and I think it's one of Slice and Dice's coolest features, that when you finish a fight, you get to play with something else, to try out for the next fight to get even stronger, and you feel constantly stronger every single fight. Now, one thing I realized is that it doesn't feel like the monsters get stronger every fight. From what I've seen, it feels like we get stronger and we might fight elites, and the elites are harder, but I did still feel like I was fighting the same bat that had the same stats from beginning to end. So it did feel like fights were getting easier and easier as we were progressing, and they weren't getting harder with me, which is an interesting take. And that was something I think I've noticed. In any case, those roguelike elements. I like the fact that there are a lot of different abilities that you can increase on your characters, and you can choose any of the 3 characters and choose whichever random ability was attributed to them. So every time you get a level up, you just look at the 3 abilities that are random, and you're like, oh, my tank got the gain more AP regeneration. That's cool, but I actually am... Oh, I'm seeing that my DPS actually got the increased damage ability. Oh, I'm gonna get that and upgrade that. So it's nice that you have the choice. It's not like, oh, you get to have your tank get an upgraded thing, and whether you like it or not, right? You have a choice, and I think that's cool. Now, some of those choices, something that was quite surprising to me is that a lot of them you actually have to purchase to just get the chance of finding them. I was quite surprised by that fact, because this game does feel like, it is a bit of a grind, which is great. I mean, I like grindy games, but I was surprised to see that most of these don't actually make you stronger. They just give you more options during fights, while some of them do, because some of them actually unlock actual spell book. Now, it was a little confusing to understand the tree here, but I was surprised to see that a lot of these actually don't make you stronger. They're just normal, traditional meta progression without it being like the Hades mirror where you get actually really strong. I was really expecting to get stronger through these unlocks. I kind of wish that you would get actual stats increase through it, so to give real meta progression. That's me, though. That is purely not a criticism in terms of what should have been done or not. But I was slightly disappointing, me personally, to understand that actually most of those are just possible upgrades. But that was just me. Now, I think some of the upgrade that were offered were really interesting. Notably, something like, for her, cleave. If the cleave breaks an enemy stance, you get a buff. That is awesome. That was definitely the coolest designed upgrade I found. Some upgrades were more just stats, which I think is always great to have. Simple stat upgrades you always need for this kind of stuff, so I like them. But I was a little disappointed to see that most of the upgrades didn't really add more strategy or more ways to play differently, such as the cleave. Now, the cleave specifically, the cleave upgrade I'm talking about specifically made me change the way I play, which I thought was great. So I'm hoping that a lot of these upgrades can come with some of this stuff. And actually, to be honest, I say this, but I do realize that a lot of these upgrades that you do end up unlocking do tend to have things that seem to actually change the way you play slightly. For instance, here I'm seeing that if the monster is killed, refund half the AP cost. Great. These kinds of designs are awesome. I love that, so I hope that there's plenty of those out there. On my first few runs, it felt like a lot of these upgrades weren't super interesting. You don't need all the upgrades to be interesting, but it was just only one that I thought was awesome, which was the cleave one. So hopefully a lot of these upgrades are even more interesting from a design standpoint. Now, one thing I've realized that there are a lot of them that you can upgrade, And so I'm hoping that it doesn't just cluster the pool of options to the point where you just never get what you want anymore. So I was wondering if you could, if eventually you would get to choose between two options every time, because if you unlock a lot of these options, then maybe you're not going to always get what you want. Or if I always love the Inferno Sword, and I always want to grab the Inferno Sword upgrade here, then I'm happy now. But if I unlock all of this, I will rarely get to see the Inferno Sword because I have so many possible other upgrades. But again, these are things I don't know currently, and that we'll just get to see later on. But so far, I will say that the upgrades felt really good, even if, you know, I love the Cleave one, and I love seeing more of these kinds of upgrades. Maybe there are plenty of them. So overall, I think the upgrade system of individual abilities between fights is a great touch, and I love the fact that you're constantly being rewarded. The relics that you get to find after elites, also a nice touch. I think it's great to have, you know, relics that just impact the group as opposed to individually. I think it's a great thing to have individual upgrades and group upgrades. Now, some relics are not for the entire group, right? It says like randomly give something to blank, right? But that's still a group relic, even if it just impacts one person. Some of the relics were interesting. I think you could have even more interesting relics that would really change the way you play the game again. I want to make sure that each run feel slightly different from one another. I do realize this is not a game that tries to go too crazy on the roguelike aspect, but I do hope that I can have a run and it's like, oh, this run I had a bunch of crit stuff. Oh, this run I had a bunch of burn synergy stuff. That was really fun. Oh, this run I had a bunch of healing synergy stuff where the more you get healed, the more damage you deal after a while. That's super cool. But, you know, I understand that this kind of game where you might not want to always have crazy unique runs, right? I think it's completely understandable to have a lot of runs just be like, oh yeah, I just had some cool stat bonuses. And what kind of run was it? It was just a good run, not a specific synergy stuff. But I do hope that the game also does offer the ability to have some cool, unique runs here and there, because there's some relics that synergize with certain playstyles, right? So if you unlock a relic that does, you know, like, oh, every time you heal, you actually apply burn to enemies, or every time you apply burn, it actually deals double damage, or every time you evade something, something occurs. All these synergy stuff, that's what I love about roguelikes. Now, this is not as much of a traditional turn-based roguelike as others, so I understand that is not the focus as much. But personally, if these kind of games, if I were to have even more fun, unique runs, then that would make me really happy. Whether that's the case with many people, that's to be debated. Relics were cool. I do feel like a lot of them felt a little bit boring, not in a super negative way, obviously, but more like just like, you know, like, oh yeah, cool, plus 5 health. Oh yeah, plus 10 health. Oh yeah, plus a little bit of that. Oh, and one random person gets that. A little bit of armor. Sure, it's cool. It's nice to have that, but hopefully there are even more interesting relics further down the line. This could definitely be a game where they don't want to put interesting relics at the beginning, not to confuse the beginners, which I totally understand. So once again, I'll have to see the more I get to play. Anyway, so that was my long version of the roguelike elements. All in all, I would say that it's nice to have a game that's supposed to be simple strategically with fun core gameplays, still have a roguelike elements to make runs feel different from one another. I think that's cool. And I don't expect the craziest different, like, unique runs from one to one compared to, you know, FTL, these kind of things. It's not trying to go for that, right? It's trying to be simple and enjoyable. So I like the effort, and I think, yeah, I have to continue playing, but I think it's cool that there seems to be some variety. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about the UI, and this is the kind of stuff that will obviously be improved the more people play. That's the beauty of indie games, you know, you can if people like struggle to understand something, you just correct that. I think there are a few UI things here and there that can be a little confusing, and I wish were implemented a little bit differently. But I also realize that this is, you know, this is trying to also be potentially a mobile game. And when you're looking into doing mobile games with, you know, a lot of content, it's always hard to satisfy the computer and the mobile side of gaming. That's just always going to be the case. So for instance, I got, you know, stats weren't displayed anywhere, and I did get some stat upgrades, and I didn't fully understand what +5 versus +1 meant, because I don't have a good frame of reference. Now, I did get confirmation that this seems to be something that is planning on being added later on, which is great. So that's a big thumbs up on my end. But certain aspects, for instance, the fact that a lot of the things in the tutorial, I think the tutorial was done well, but it was a lot of information. So I kind of wish there was a way to also get the information about the tutorial somewhere during the runs, because for instance I kind of forgot how this system worked or how that system worked, and so the fact that I wasn't able to easily get that information was a little bit confusing. Obviously this is just for new players. Once you get comfortable with the game, you don't need to worry about that, but you know, games are important to try to grab the, you know, you want to try to grab people quickly. So if things get too confusing, it can unfortunately be hard to grab onto it if you spend too much time trying to figure out what's going on. That wasn't really the case for me that much. There were a few things that visually were a little confusing. The fact that, for instance, a lot of these upgrades, getting to see the difference between the original and the upgraded version is a bit hard for me to see. Now, it does say it in text, but I just kind of wish that you could just see the original and the upgraded and just not have it be in text, because most people don't like to read in video games, especially small text. I think visually getting to see the difference, especially in situations where here, the difference is that the upgrade here costs 3 instead of 4, but deals less damage. It does say it in the print here, but I think just seeing the two differences with just 4, 3, and damage plus and down, which is the case when you actually upgrade during the run, I think would have been nicer just visually during the upgrade process. But again, these are easy things to adjust. This is also just me. You know, maybe most people will not have that problem visually, but I think it's important for me to just, you know, give my opinion on these things. And lastly, there are some balanced things here and there that I'm sure will be tweaked. I feel like just a little bit, some things felt a little underwhelming to me, for mostly the rapid meteor. And again, I've only done one upgrade, but that one upgrade didn't feel like it was much of a benefit, and it was a little sad for me to unlock my first thing and then realize that it didn't seem to be super powerful at first glance. Maybe it is, but it didn't make me feel excited to pick it on the things. But again, the balance stuff is usually not a major concern for these kind of games, because these are easy things to tweak. What's important is the overall everything. I think right now, from what I've talked about, there's a few things here and there that can easily be tweaked that may want to be tweaked or may not. This was just my opinion, you know, some UI things, some balance things, potentially just visually understanding certain aspects. But what's important is that at the end of the day, Dungeonfell, the best part about it for me is that the core gameplay is very enjoyable for a game that's trying to be simple and strategic. And if you've seen my content in the past, then you know that I think this is the best compliment you can give to strategy games. Simple, but strategic. And I think Dungeonfell has the potential of being one of those games where, you know, the game wants you to go fast, and you can go fast, but the better the player, the better they'll do. And you don't have to just be grinding, just pressing a button that always kills everything. You actually kind of have to think about it. So I think they did a really solid job with that. And I've only played with the 3 main characters. Being able to change your team and change your spell book, I could imagine once you have unlocked a lot of this stuff, the game really opens up. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long for the game to open up, because I really want to play with a lot of this stuff. The game is supposed to be grindy. Obviously, that's part of the, you know, the pleasing effects. I also love the fact that, you know, there really is something to go towards. You know, it's not just like, oh, here's the next level and that's it. It really feels like each level, there's a reason why you want to continue. And I felt like the biomes changed from the first to the second level. It felt great to just go from Act 1, Chapter 1 to Chapter 2. It just felt like I was progressing. And so I'm excited to continue and see the next act and to see the final boss and to see what happens when I get all the gems. This does feel like a kind of an adventure. And I think that's awesome. You know, getting the feeling of an adventure for these kinds of games is a great reason to continue playing. So overall, there was a lot to say about this game. This was quite a long rant, so sorry everybody. But I would say that, from what I've seen, this game has a lot of potential. I'm very excited to see how it feels once I've unlocked a lot more stuff. I feel like I could talk about this game very differently after like 10 hours. This is just from the very small amount I've played. And I also feel like this game has so much potential to just improve on many aspects and to have different visuals, like better UI and stuff like that, that would make it even more enjoyable. I love the fact that this game seems to have a lot of care put into it. And so that was my full rant. Now let's see what chat says. Corruption levels add other abilities and movesets are randomized. Stats are manipulated and Q is screwed with. Oh, cool. Good to know. Yeah, I'm imagining usually corruption makes things very interesting as well. So that's good to know. That's great to know. Yeah, more and more as corruption levels are increased. Great. The final boss didn't seem really memorable. I mean, the first final boss didn't. To be honest, the first final boss was just a duo of normal enemies. That's totally fair. But from here, I can see, you know, like these seem like they seem to have a lot of different visuals here. So I find that kind of fun. If you press high score, you will see. Yeah. Oh, if I press high score. Oh, cool. Nice. I'm number 61. Oh wait, that was on this one. Hey, I'm number 14. Woo! Ha! Nice. Have you been listening to our internal meetings? We maybe need to show routes better. The biome is 4 acts. The big boss is end of biome, as Pepper has only done run 1. Yeah. All right, once again, thank you so much for sending Dungeonfell. This was a very enjoyable experience that I'm excited to play more because I feel like I really didn't get deep at all with this game. This definitely is a game that expects you to play a lot. So maybe I will talk about this game again in the future if I get to play it a lot more. This could easily be a rogathon and potentially be in a tier list in the future because I need to play more to really give more thoughts about it. Your comments are so similar to our chats. Great. That means I'm not alone. I mean, it's great, you know, because one thing that's important is when someone gives criticism or just says particular things about certain aspects, you know, they might be alone. They might be the one person out of 5,000. And sometimes just hearing one person say one thing could, you know, be, you know, like, oh, shoot, we need to change things in that direction. The point is that I need to make it clear that these are my own thoughts, and I might be the only one thinking about these things. So if some of the things I say other people have mentioned, I think that's great because that means that, you know, it gives more of a direction as to what people might want to focus on. And that's awesome, because I think this game has a lot of great potential, and I'm actually excited to continue playing it. This was very fun, and yeah, that's about it.